Hello, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Welcome to Advanced #Eden Speaker Meeting. My name is Sean. I am the such as for today's meeting. Before starting the meeting, there are 3 ground rules we need to follow. First, please stay mute until it is your turn to speak. Second, we encourage you to turn on your camera for wonderful audience interaction if you are convenient. Third, the meeting will record, and if you are not comfortable to be recorded, you are welcome to turn off your camera, but please stay in the meeting to enjoy and learn as much as you can. Now, let's put our hands together to welcome our present distinguished Toastmaster Patricia Yap to the virtual stage.
Woo! Okay, give yourself a huge round of applause for being here. Today, we are in a very intimate setting, and you guys are going to learn as much as possible, of course, from our esteemed speaker. Let me introduce to you, Michael Wader is certainly one of the best human beings that I've ever met. He is seriously very generous with imparting his knowledge, and more so, he has such a pleasant personality that you just want to glue to him whenever you have the opportunity. And having said that, Michael is a very accomplished speaker, not only in the world of Toastmasters, but even beyond. He has been certified professional speaker in many organizations, and he lead a lot of big organizations, sharing with them how they can have productivity and at the same time groom their staff employee to be better productive employee. And even bosses, a lot of bosses are also Michael Wader students as well. So with this, you probably noticed Michael is huge in many districts. He is also chartered a few clubs in District 116 and other districts as well. Because of this, we would like to capture everybody now with the group photo. And you probably have seen we have such a fantastic poster with Michael being so energized. And I'd like to have all of you, I want to challenge you to follow and to imitate Michael's pose. So hold on to something on your hand. Michael's right is my left. You can pick anything that you want to hold on to, and we will have Sean, if you are possible, help us to snap the photo. All right?
Yes.
On my
for
count.
Everyone. 1, 2, 3. Another picture. Just wait a moment.
Okay, I'll take this for you, Sean, so you can hold on something. Okay.
Just release. 1,
Yes.
2, 3. Another one. Okay, thank you. Back to the Patricia.
Thank you. Thank you. We will have Sean to post a photo there. So with this, we have to give Michael the loudest round of applause. So I want to welcome everybody. Please unmute yourself. We do something different. Please unmute yourself and give Michael a solid 5-second big round of applause, which is 360 degrees. You know what I mean? Ready? 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Over to you, Michael.
All right. I'm going to get on the screen share and get started here. 1 second, please. Screen share, advanced, share, and what happened there? What happened there? What happened there? What happened? What happened? There we are. We got sidetracked a little bit, folks. I got a question for you. How many of you would like to go to a speaking class at Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, Oxford, or Tokyo University? How would you like to go to a speaking class? Raise your hand. Anybody? Anybody want to go to that speaking class? Sure, you do. Absolutely. This is going to be a great place to go to. Unfortunately, I don't have the money to send all you people where you'd like to go. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a mini class. I'm going to give you about 30 minutes of high intensity training on how to use mental agility. And that's where we're headed for today. We're going to talk about the power of mental agility. This is going to be a game changer for some of you. For some of you, it's going to help you break that shell that keeps you inside. As a speaker, we want you to break out. We want you to stand out. We want you to be dynamic. In order to do that, if you stay inside that shell, it's going to be very difficult. So we're going to be talking about how you can move forward and how you can be that great speaker that you want to be. Now, when we do this, we're going to need to have a little bit of participation. So a little bit later on, I'm going to ask 3 of you to participate. Very simple task, not difficult. But when I ask you, I'm going to ask you to say something, and then I will finish it for you. I'll finish your line for you. You'll see how that works a little bit later on. So right now, I need to first tell you just a little bit about myself. I started the company 29 years ago, and I called it Leadership Excellence International because I wanted to go global. I like being global. Look at the continuity we have here today. We got 6 countries or more already on screen. That means that we have some differences. When you do not know how to have mental agility, you're not able to track along with some of the meanings, some of the sayings, or some of the influences that they're trying to make on you. You can't track them because you don't know the custom or the culture. Well, what I'm going to show you today requires no knowledge of a foreign custom or culture. It's just being yourself, you being you. And that's what's going to be important. Because when we do this, we need to understand why this is important. Now, there's a World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland every year. And every year they go around and they ask about 6,000 global leaders, what do you want from an executive or a manager that you're going to hire? And for the last 10 years, in the list of things that those top executives are looking for, in the top 5 has always been creativity and innovation every year. Now, they're not 1, 2 all the time, but they're in the top 5 for the last 10 years. So this tells us that people and companies are looking for people who know how to be creative and know how to be innovative. That's why it's so important that you know how to do some of these things. And Toastmasters can help you. Now, I know I talked a little bit earlier to Mr. Lai, and he's a champion, right? There's a lot of champions out there for table topics. Why isn't every member of a club a champion in table topics? Why doesn't every member just wait with anticipation and can't wait to get out there and do that table topic? That's what you should be doing. But for many, it's that fear. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to say something wrong. They think that there is a certain script they should follow. My suggestion to you is that no script. Just jump out there and do it. And we'll talk about that, and I'll give you an example in a little while. How you can participate. You need to understand that being comfortable is important. And I'm talking about being comfortable with you, not comfortable with the weather, not comfortable with the sitting, but are you comfortable with you? If you're comfortable with you, you can say almost anything you want, and you know it's going to be accepted. Now, I've met with Patricia a few times, and every time we get together, we have a lot of laughs. And that's part of the improvisation. If you can make somebody smile, they're going to be more likely to agree with what you're saying. But if you say something they're going to frown, they're probably not going to agree with you. So you have to figure out how to say something that's going to be helpful for them, supportive of them, but you might want to convince them to go the other direction. You know, too often we have people out there who are thinking about saying yes, but. Your boss asks you a question. He says, you know, I think we should buy new equipment, and you're against it. So when he says we should buy new equipment, you say, yeah, boss, but we don't have enough money, or boss, we don't have anybody who knows how to operate it, or boss, that may not be a good idea. When you say yes, but, you have just shut down the conversation entirely. So what we have to do is learn how to say yes and. Now, Bob Coolhan, you can see on the screen here, wrote this book in 2017. This book changed those universities that I was talking about earlier. Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, Oxford, and Tokyo University. All 5 of them in 2018 started including improvisation or creative speaking in their MBA and postgraduate classes because they said this is important for business. Businesses want you to think creatively. I mean, that's what they want, but you've been held back by your schools for so long. You know, we had that old problem. When you're in elementary school and high school, they tell you when you draw something, stay inside the lines. You know, they give you the picture of a duck and they say, oh, stay inside the lines where the feathers are at. Why don't you just cover the whole page? You know, they said cover the duck yellow. Okay, so why don't you scribble the whole page yellow? That would be covering the duck, right? But then they think, oh, Michael's a little bit crazy. He didn't say inside the lines. Well, we got to get you to think outside the lines, outside those barriers. Get away from those things. And one of the first things you can do about that is to have active listening. This is absolutely critical to your audience or team's responsiveness. If you want them to respond to you, you have to start by being an active listener. What does an active listener mean? It means that you are paying attention. You are not on this stupid cell phone. You know, somebody's talking to you and you're on a phone and you're doing, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. That's not paying attention. When you're in a Toastmasters meeting, sometimes we get distracted. Sometimes our phone buzzes, so we pick it up while somebody is already talking on the screen, but we're on their phone. Not good. Don't do that. If you're having a conversation live with somebody, I suggest you take your phone, either turn it off or put it aside. Use active listening. Pay attention to exactly every word they say, because you're going to be expected to respond. You're going to have to come back with a creative response, something that's different, something that's going to make them smile, something that's going to get them to understand you support their idea, or you're going to support their idea by changing their idea. And I'll explain that here in a few moments. But you're going to have to be an active listener. And I mean really, really paying attention. We all know many Toastmasters. I don't have to put names out there. We know Toastmasters who come to a meeting, turn it on, and then walk around the house or talk to other people or get on their phone. They're not paying attention. So we need to learn how to pay very, very close attention. Active listening is very, very critical. When you do this, you know, I talk to people and I say, you know, what about your daughter or your son? Do they listen to you? And they say, well, sometimes, yeah, but sometimes no, Michael. And I say, why do they not listen to you sometimes? Maybe it's because you don't listen to them sometimes. You know, the daughter or son comes home from school and they got a problem they want to tell you about, and you only half listen to it while you're cooking dinner or while you're doing something around the house. You're not really paying attention to them. When somebody's going to talk to you, if you want to respond, and you want to respond with good response, not just words throwing out there, you have to be an active listener. People who know how to do table topics real well, they listen very, very carefully to what they're going to be asked to say or topic or whatever the subject is, and then they respond coherently because they pay close attention. Now, there's another thing you're going to need besides active listening. That's mental agility. You know, mental agility is going to help you to overcome those challenges. We're going to try this here in just a few minutes with some of you. And what you're going to see is I'm going to have you give me a challenge, and I'm just going to respond to it. I want to show you what it looks like. And we'll do that here on screen at our meeting today. But you have to be ready for challenges. You have to be ready that when your boss asks you a question, you have an answer. Don't sit there and say, I don't know, boss. I didn't think about it, boss. I'll get back to you later, boss, okay? That's not how you respond. Not if you want to move up in the company, and not if you want to be a good speaker. How about when you're speaking and you have people asking you questions? You're speaking and someone asks you a question and you say, I don't really know, or I'm not sure, but I think, or whatever. That's not a good response. Someone asks you a question, you have to respond immediately. Immediately. You might take a second or two, but that's about all, and then move forward. That's a challenge. The only way you're going to get over this challenge is to practice it. And I practice it a lot. I have several friends of mine that when we go out and have dinner or whatever together, sometimes we really have a lot of laughs. And we have laughs because we're practicing our mental agility. I'll say something and ask them to finish the sentence, or they'll say something and ask me to finish the sentence, not knowing anything is going on. I was talking to Patricia a while back, and I was telling her about my Toastmasters clubs, especially the one in Doha, Qatar. That club is called the Global Improv and Storytellers. So the improv is in our club name. About a year ago, I had finished my 9th pathway and was started on my 10th pathway. And when I did that, I said, I'm going to do this pathway differently. I decided that all my speeches, there were 17 in that pathway I was going to do, every one of them would be improvisation, which means I show up at the meeting and they said, Michael, what are you doing? And I say, I'm doing level 3 body language and vocal variety. And they say, okay, what's the title? I don't have a title. They said, what do you mean you don't have a title? I tell them, you give me the subject and I'll talk 5 to 7 minutes on it. So I tried it once and tried it twice. I did it 17 times during going through, including my long at the end level 5 speech. Each time I had no idea what I was going to say. I simply asked them, give me a topic and I can talk on anything. It comes from practice, having that mental agility to take on challenges. You do this and you're going to become a much better speaker. Some people are afraid of this. Some people are afraid to take a chance or say something they don't know. Let me ask all of you a question. In Toastmasters, when you're preparing for one of the pathway speeches, or maybe you're moved up and now you're giving keynote speeches or workshops, who sees your script? We spend the time writing a script, changing it, putting some extra words in there, making it nice, making it cohesive, and then we're going to get up and give a speech without that script. Well, when you do that, guess what? You are actually, I thought I seen somebody wave something across the screen here for a moment. You are actually going out there and speaking improvisation, because how many of you are going to have a written script and say exactly what's on the script? You're not. You're not going to do that. People say other things besides what's on the script. And that's what improvisation is. Not having a script. Not having a script. So I need to give you a little bit of example here, which we're going to do momentarily. And when we get into this, we're going to need to be, you're going to see that I take risk. And this is something you need to do. You need to practice risk taking as a speaker. Somebody gives you a topic, you give them an answer. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 or 7 minutes, whatever it is, you bounce back and not have a fear, because no one's going to see your script. You can say whatever you want, change your speech right in the middle. No one sees it. Only you know it. So therefore, get creative. Throw some things out there that are very spontaneous, very creative, and they're going to inspire people, because you're going to say, wow, I never thought he would say that. I didn't know what he was going to say. Don't let people predict what you're going to say. You surprise them. You need to get out there and just be active. Okay, so let's try this here for a moment. Let's get here. All right. So Patsy, you're the first one I talked to this morning. Will you turn on your microphone, please?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I want you to complete this sentence and then I will respond. It says, we should buy. So I want you to think about something that in the company that you might want to buy when you're working inside of a company. Say, we should buy, and then stop, and I will finish the rest of it.
We should buy a sport car for the company.
Sports
Am
car for
I-
the company.
Yes.
Yes, and that's a great idea. Just think about the adrenaline we can get flowing through people. What we're going to do, Patsy, we're going to let you drive the car and put the other person next to you. And while you're flying down the road, ask them a question. They're going to be all excited, and come up with some creative ideas. So a sports car in our company could be a good idea, because it could add to a way of creating new ideas that we never thought about before. So maybe a sports car in the company is not so crazy. Maybe it'd be a fun thing to do. And if you're lucky, Patsy, you could ask the owner, Can I take it home on the weekend? Good idea. You know, it might be fun. Take your spouse or your kids up. That'd be a good idea. But it can be used in a company. So again, I'm going to stop right there. But you can see that as soon as she told me what it was, I took off and I just used my own ideas as to what a sports car in a company could be used for. I didn't know about it ahead of time. I didn't know what the topic was. I just grabbed it and I run. That's what you need to get used to. And it comes from you getting over the fear of saying something wrong. I could have said, you know, if she said we need to buy a sports car, I could have said, yeah, and we can replace the boss's old Volkswagen. You know, his Volkswagen is 10 years old. He needs a new one. We could have given him the sports car to replace his Volkswagen. You throw anything out there that you want, it's not going to be wrong, but you have to have some words to support it. And you need to start by saying yes and. All right, let me move to the next slide. Who are we going to use here? How about Yannicka? Yannicka, can you turn on your microphone?
Yes, I can.
Sure. Okay. I want you to think about you're working in a company and your boss comes to you and he says, we should hire something. I want you to give me that sentence by completing it. We should hire, and then continue.
We should hire someone who's very creative in creating content for us, since we don't have that experience.
Stop there. And I would respond, yes, and you know what? I know where you can find them. You can find them in Toastmasters. Yeah, that's a great place to do. Now, if you don't really want to do Toastmasters, there's another place. Let's have a drink tonight downtown at the Comedy Club. And if we go to the Comedy Club, there are so many people down there who are just instantaneously wanting to say something creative. So we can go down there and talk to those people. Maybe they would be interested in a part-time job coming to our company, maybe at a lower fee than hiring them full-time. So maybe we can use that comedian to help us come up with some very creative ideas. I'm going to stop there. So what I'm saying is that I went two directions that time. I went to Toastmasters, and then I'm thinking in my brain while I'm talking, I'm thinking, not everybody knows what Toastmasters are. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking, I got to do something else. I have to add to it. So I said, how about the comic club? We go downtown and go to find a comedian. Most people know what a comedian is, and they know what a comedian does. Comedians are the founders of improvisation. When Bob wrote that book, he actually was a comedian on stage, and he had been teaching people how to improvise and be a better comedian on stage. Somebody talked to him about the corporate industry, and he decided to check it out. He started doing research, and then he found out that more and more businesses really are looking for people who are creative, people who have mental agility, people who can go from one topic to another topic smoothly without getting lost or sounding like they're crazy. Now, folks who talk to me, they ask me, Michael, you know, you sound a little crazy. And I said, thank you. I want to sound a little bit crazy. I even introduce myself sometimes at a conference as a crazy American grandfather. Why not? If I tell people I'm crazy already and I say something crazy, they accept it. If I don't tell them I'm crazy and I tell them something crazy, they say, oh, he's kind of strange. But if I tell them I'm crazy ahead of time, they accept it. Let's try one more. I'm going to ask, I know my timer is Sean, but I'm going to ask Sean to turn on his microphone, please.
Yes.
Sean, can you turn on your microphone?
Yes, I turn on my microphone.
Okay. This one's for you. Let me get this next click. I got to change slides. I want you to finish the sentence. You're in a corporation and the company's going to move. So what I need for you to do is to tell me, we should move to, and give me anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world.
We should move to Taipei because Taiwan is very important in the world. Thank you.
And when you stop that, I would say, yes. And guess what? It's also one of the best places to get Chinese food. I traveled around the world a lot, and my favorite place for delicacies is Taipei, Taiwan. I think they have such a wide variety of wonderful food there. And look at where they're at. They're on an island that used to be called what? Formosa, a green leaf. The country is beautiful. I think the country is so nice. And for those of you who say, oh, but I don't like the hot weather, I want it cool, we're going to take you up to Alisan. Up there, it's nice and cool and refreshing. You got fresh fish, you got fresh vegetables, you got all those things there. And I don't have to tell you, boss, you already know that Taiwan has a great electronics industry and is growing tremendously. But I also want you to think about, how about the food? It's really, really good. I'm going to stop there. You see what I did? I came in and I jumped in and I agreed immediately. I said, yes, and then I talked about food. But later on, I came back around because he talked about the country being good and growing and so forth. So I want to come back around and finish up by talking about how great the country was. So again, these thoughts just run through my mind rapid. I don't think about them. They just come out of my mouth. It's something that I've been practicing for many, many years. And that's why table topics are so very, very easy for me. But it's also one of the reasons why when I go to different places on conferences and other events for companies, and they ask me to speak, I always tell them ahead of time, I'm a little bit crazy, so you might be surprised by what I say. Don't be shocked. I will relate what I say to what your conference is about or what you're trying to do, but it may not be in the direction, because I don't talk straight. I talk, for those who speak Mandarin, I speak wan shishi. I go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That's how I get to my end. I don't just go straight. So anybody could do this. Any of you could do this. It only takes a little bit of practice. So what you need to do is think about the next time you have table topics, think very, very intently and listen very, very actively. Pay attention to what the question is. Take a moment or two. Some of you might, I know they normally give you up to 30 seconds. Take a few seconds on that. Take a little bit of time and say, take a deep breath. Think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go for it. You're silent during that count and then go for it. It's a great way to get started on improvisation, is by doing table topics. But remember, when somebody says we should do something, don't do the yes, but. If you say yes, but, you have just cut it in half. It's gone. It's done. The boss doesn't like it and you don't like it and you look like a fool. If you say yes, and you can take it any direction you want to go. You take it up, take it down, take it north, take it south, wherever you wish to go with it, because nobody knows your script. So you come up with an answer, and then eventually when you get to the end of your answer, you need to tie it back to whatever the original topic was. You don't have to just go straight and follow the topic. You can just go this way, this way, this way, this way, but then bring it back in and wind up finishing the story the right way. This is something that everybody can do, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's fun at parties. You can do what I'm just doing here. You can do that at your next party if you wish. You got 6, 8, 10 people sitting around. They know just a little bit about public speaking. You might say, we're going to play a game. I'm going to give you a sentence and you have to finish it. You're probably going to have an awful lot of laughs, because people, especially if one of them is daring and does something very daring, the next one will do a daring one, and then the next one will do a daring one. And pretty soon it gets pretty outrageous and everybody laughs like crazy and has a good time. That's fun. So I suggest you think about using improvisation and using mental agility in order to move forward. Now, there's something else you're going to have to keep in mind. When we talk about improvisation, people bad English there. People do not know where it came from. Where does it come from? Very easy. Improvisation comes when creativity and opportunity collide. You've got creativity in your head. The boss or someone else has asked you a question. That's an opportunity. Smack it. Smack it. Hit it hard. Don't be afraid to try it. Get out there and try that, and you will be surprised at your success. Try it with your spouse, your husband or your wife. Try it with one of your kids. That's fine too. They're going to get a little chuckle out of it. They're going to get a little laughter out of it. And that is the key. It's the practice, the practice, and the practice. By doing this more and more often, you're going to get better at it. And when you get better at it, now you're going to be respected as a speaker, because you can talk on any topic that's out there. There's no topic you cannot talk about. The most challenging one I've ever had was at a Toastmasters meeting in England, where they were trying to challenge me because they knew I was good at improvisation. So they said, Michael, we need for you to talk for 3 minutes. I said, okay, on what? They gave me a topic that I had never prepared for. None of you are prepared for. They asked me, at that time I was about 55 years old. They asked a 55-year-old white Caucasian man, what is it like to be a geisha girl in Japan? Oh, okay. I thought for about 2 or 3 seconds and I said, off I went. And I started talking about being a geisha girl in Japan. What do I know about that? Well, I know just a little bit about it. I had been to Japan before, but not for very long. So I didn't know a lot about it. But I thought, what have we heard about geisha girls? We heard that sometimes they entertain their men and other people with violins or singing music or giving a tea ceremony and those type of things. There are other things they do also, but you don't have to go there. You can just talk about the fact that sometimes they have a white face. Sometimes they wear gloves. Sometimes they put excessive makeup on, like strong red lipstick or something else. They're always impeccably clean. They're always beautiful. You know, there's lots of things that we have heard or read about a geisha girl in Japan. And if you don't, just make it up out of your head. Don't worry about what they're saying or what they're doing. You're just going to throw out your ideas. And by doing that, you practice. Now, many of you may be playing some sport, badminton, football, something, whatever. Somebody is speaking, that's okay. Please, if the host will mute that person speaking, please. Okay, thank you. So if you're playing a sport out there, you know that when you start that sport, you're not very good at it. And it's going to take some practice. And when you practice, you get much better. It's the same way. And if you're only on a first or second pathway and just getting started on your pathways of doing more, as you start into a new pathway, you might think, I got a speech coming up. Level 3, body language and vocal variety. Could I do something creative? Could I do something different? Look at the pose you see on me on the poster for today's meeting. I got a microphone in my hand, got my mouth open. I'm shouting. This was a workshop on body language and vocal variety. But when I wanted to do it, I had no script. It all came from my memory when I stepped out there to give my 5 to 7 minute speech. But I had to make sure that I did some crazy things. Yeah, I did a little dancing, a little twisting, a little microphone waving. I did lots of different things. I entertained the audience by exaggerating what the topic was. The topic was body language and vocal variety. So I raised it high. I said, I'm using body language and vocal variety. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just improvised on the spot. Now, another thing that we do, not only do I go to meetings where I don't have a topic and they give me a topic, sometimes we give somebody a prop. I don't have a prop here. Let me get a prop. Oh, I didn't bring the prop with me. I have one laying here, so I'm improvising. This is a pen. This pen has the ability to write in gold. What would you like to write in gold? So just throw that out there. And then somebody has to say, yes, that'd be a great idea if I had a gold pen and I could, and then continue it. You can use props also for improvisation. We see this on some TV programs where they bring out a big box and nobody knows what's in the box. They open the box and people have to, one by one, have to pick something up. They pick up an old dry sponge. They have to talk about it. They pick up an old broken clock. They have to talk about it. So these are improvisers who are doing this. You can do it too. You can improvise. You can be a person who uses mental agility. Mental agility does something that I'm going to mention here that is quite a bit different than what you might have expected. Mental agility is also going to help you to live longer. It also fights dementia. By you practicing, using those brain waves, letting that blood run crazy through your brain, coming up with creative ideas, thinking about strange new things. This keeps your mind active. Now, I'm older than anybody on the screen here. Nobody's old as I am here. And I can tell you that I have a very, very active mind. My brothers are 89 and 84. They both have a very active mind and they're both very healthy. if you get us together, you could not imagine the amount of humor or fun that we have when the three of us get together, because we are really zany. One was in the Army, one was in the Marine Corps, and I was in the Air Force. We pick on each other and we say the craziest things about each other. Now, we never had a sailor in our group, but we got a couple cousins who are sailors. And when we bring them in, it's even more crazy, because we have a lot of fun saying things that make no sense, saying things that are really ridiculous, but then we figure out how to tie it together to something in reality, you know? If you'd never laid on your elbows and knees and crawled through a swamp or through a rice paddy, you don't know what it's like to be in Vietnam during the war. From there, there's a lot of different directions you could go about walking on your elbows and knees in the water or in the mud. You know, we might have done this as a kid, or we might have been playful about it, or we've done all different kinds of things. Again, that type of thinking will cause those brain waves to fire, cause your brain to be running faster, and it does help prevent dementia. You don't hear much about that, but the doctors will tell you the more active you keep your mind, the more agile it is to go left, to go right, to go up, to go down. The more agile your mind is, the better it's going to be for you to live a long time. It's going to really help you do that. So I'm sure all of you want to live a long time. I'm sure none of you are in a hurry to put your foot into the casket. The power of mental agility is a game changer. It can help you sustain your leadership success and your speaking success. You can be a better speaker. You can be a better leader if you just keep that mind moving. Don't let it sit. Don't let it be idle. You should read more, watch more video, and I don't mean crazy video, but video that about different things, because all those things that you're going to read about and see, they are in your head. And when it's time to come up with an answer, it's an easy way to do that. Okay, somebody's got a raised hand out there, so somebody might have a question. Can I find out who has a question? I'm going to roll out of my screen share and go back to a live camera, and then that way I'll be able to see who has a hand up. Okay, so I'm out of there. Who's got the hand up? Hand up, hand up, hand up.
Yeah, Suisin, you will take over. Suisin, go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
She has the
First
question.
of all,
Yeah.
thank you so much to our speaker for this wonderful and astonishing speech for all of us and for sharing this knowledge. So everyone, let's give a round of applause and let's appreciate to our speaker for this wonderful sharing session. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I am your answer. So it's for you, all of us, to ask a question to our speaker. And if you have any question, feel free to send your question in the chat and then we will ask. Okay, so I got the questions here in the chat. Oh, okay. Mike, would you like to do one more TT topic? I want to hire that 11-year-old boy and. Oh, okay. From
And can
our
I
guest
ask,
speaker.
and can I ask who the person is that's asking this? I mean, are they a parent? Are they a businessman? What are they? Where are they coming from? Businessman. Okay, all right, no problem. That's fine. Businessman. So
Hi,
you
our guest Victoria.
you just asked me, you know, do I think we should hire the 11-year-old? Yes, we should. And guess what? They're going to bring some laughter. Look at that little guy. This guy is laughing all the time, and he doesn't think like you and me. You know, boss, you're 50 and I'm 60, and this guy's 11. He thinks differently. He's got a lot of new ideas that we don't have. And I think it would be a great idea. We don't have to make him a corporate executive, but we could call him a mentor. Now, he's mentoring us instead of we mentoring him. He can kind of show us how to have a little bit of fun and maybe keep up with the latest things that are out there. I am sure at 11 years old, he knows how to use that cell phone faster than you and I. He probably knows a lot more about it at his age. So my suggestion is, yes, we should hire him because he's going to help our company. So is that an answer for you, sir? No response? All right. Mike, would you like, I did that one.
Very creative answer, and thank you to our guest Victoria. And now question is how to hack time with mental agility. How to hack time with mental agility.
How to help time. How to
Michael,
how to-
this question is from me. How to hack time so we will have more time in our life? Because a lot of corporates out there are always struggling with, oh my God, we are not having enough time. So I do
okay,
feel the power of mental agility would help.
Right.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I will answer that. Absolutely. Mental agility is going to allow you to come up with answers very, very quickly. And one of the ways this does is not only through improvisation, but through something called resilience. Resilience means that you're going to be able to get something done with whatever you have. You know, somebody says, I have a piece of tape that I've stretched out here, but I don't have any way to cut it or break it. It won't tear. How are you going to get a strong piece of tape and you want to tear it off, but you won't tear off. It won't break. How are you going to do that? Well, what could you do quickly? What you're going to do is you're going to grab a pencil or ink pen, stick it in the middle of the tape and pull at the same time, and it cuts perfectly. Does it every time. You got to think faster. You got to think for a resolution to the problem. You're going to get things done quicker, right? Now you're saying, hey, I really need a glass of water, but there's no glasses around. I can't find one. Can you go over to the water fountain and hold your hands together like we used to do when you were only an 8-year-old child? Put your hands together, put water in, and could you do that? Sure you could. But you're saying, oh no, I'm an adult. I have to have a glass. I have to do this the formal way. I got to do it the nice way. You can save time and you get a lot more things done if you're willing to be resilient and think creatively about what can I do with the resources I have. Now, a lot of folks don't think about resilience, but it's another important item that you need to have, especially as you're growing older. You're going to not have as many things around you, so you have to figure out how to do with what you have. The best example I can give of that is Gucci, the clothing manufacturer. You folks all know the name Gucci. When COVID came, all the millionaires decided they didn't want to buy anything because of COVID. They were a little scared. They sat back. They didn't want to do anything. So Gucci said, we're not selling anything. We need something new. We got something that has to be innovative. Well, we have a guest on screen here, Janet. Janet is wearing what Gucci made. Gucci made COVID mask. It has the Gucci logos on it. It has the green and red stripe on it. It has a little metal Gucci symbol on it. They made Gucci mask and they sold like crazy, not to you and I, but to people who had a lot of money. They made them expensive. They made them exclusive, and they sold them like crazy. So they said, we have the material, we have the design, we have the logo, we have all those things. We know how to sew, but we've never made masks before in our life. Well, guess what? Market demand masks, they made masks and sold them like crazy. So again, that's resilience. That's bouncing back from a problem. Can you do that? Yes. And if you're quick thinking, it's going to happen a little bit faster. So that's going to shut down our time that we said, oh, I got to come up with an idea. People are worried when you're writing a speech. How long does it take you? If you're going to write a 5 to 7 minute speech, how long does it take you? It should take you maybe an hour total for the whole speech, maximum an hour. But right now we spend, an hour now and then an hour the next day and an hour next. I got to get it perfect. I got to get it perfect. I got to get. No, you don't have to get it perfect. No one's going to see your script. As I mentioned earlier, there is no script. You're reading it, you're practicing it, and then you put that script aside and you don't use it when you step up in front of the camera. You just let it roll. And this is the problem with speakers. They're trying to get it perfect. There is no perfect speech. I've never heard a perfect speech in my life. No, nowhere. Not in the international competition or any speech. Never been perfect. There's always some things that sound a little strange. He might have changed this or he might have changed that. I'm not sure what he changed. I like the speech, but boy, you surprised me a little bit. That's because he forgot the line and he just threw another line out there. It's okay. Nobody knows. That's what comedians do a lot when they get on stage. They're up there saying something. Their brain is just wandering all over the place. There's no straight, definite pattern. They have the starting point. They know where they want to finish, but in between, it's one chichi. It's back and forth like this. They don't know how to get there. Could you recommend brain exercises that improve mental ability? Let me see the rest of it. I missed the rest of it. Hold on a second. Hold on. Would you recommend brain exercises that improve mental agility and help in adapting to new environments outside your comfort zone? Yeah, absolutely. Here's a very simple exercise. Very simple. Go out and get a box of Crayolas or something that has 8 or 10 colors: blue, yellow, green, black, white, purple, all the pink, all the different colors, the standard colors, 8 or 10 of those standard colors. Now, pick up that colored Crayola, and if you had to rename that color, what name would you give it? How about blue? What color is the sky? For those of you on screen, what color is the sky? You're going to say blue. Wrong. It's azure. Ooh. Now look up the word azure, A-Z-U-R-E, and you're going to say, oh, that's an interesting name for a blue sky, because it is one of the shades of blue. Yeah, you see, you could come up. I recommend you get the colors, 8 or 10 of them, and sit down and have fun. Have a cup of coffee or a beer, whatever you're going to be drinking for relaxing, and think about, this is not red. This is magenta. Oh, a little bit different. Come up with your own names. You don't have to use the names that other people have come up with, because that's what other folks did. They knew it was red, but they didn't want to call it red. And they said, well, it's not quite red. It's a little bit darker than red. And so we're going to call it, and they picked magenta, or they picked azure for blue. You can use colors and you make your own list of what you would call those 8 or 10 colors. This is practice. This is practice. How about a thesaurus? Well, I'm still here on, I imagine I haven't seen my time run out yet. So I'm going to give you another example. You see if I can find Sean here so I can see where he's at. Sean. There you are. You haven't put up the yellow card yet. Another one is thesaurus. You see a word and ask yourself, is there another word for that word? You know, pain. Is there another word for pain? Hurt.
Suffering.
Yeah, suffering. Yeah. Hurt, suffering, pain, right? Now, if you go to thesaurus, you're going to see there are about 8 or 10 different possibilities that are a good match for the word pain. What could you come up with as a new word? You might say, I'm going to call my pain ouch. So every time somebody talks about pain, I'm going to say ouch, because that hurt. Okay, so you can create words on your own. Creating words on your own is going to cause your creativity to fire off, and you're going to be hearing different things. You're going to be able to speak different things because you're practicing changing things. You know, when I asked earlier, if somebody said, you know, should we hire this 11-year-old? And I said, right away, I jumped in and said, yeah, just think about all the creativity and the way they do things different and so forth. I could have said, oh man, 11-year-old, how are we going to find a desk that's low enough for them to sit at, or a chair for them to sit at? That's going to be a problem. And 11-year-old, some people are not going to like 11-year-old in the company, boss. They don't like, they got children at home. They don't want to have children at work too. They want adults to work with you. I could have gone that direction, but that's a yes, but. And we don't want to go yes, but. We want to go yes, and support the idea. Okay, so this is a little bit different. In order to practice this, to get the mind used to it, try things that are normal and try to create them differently. Now, for me, it's a little bit easier simply because I have lived in 8 different countries for more than a year at a time. 8 different countries. I also have visited 26 countries. I eat food from all over the world. If you ask Patricia what kind of food I eat, she says, Michael eats seafood. Now, that's not spelled S-E-A. That's spelled S-E-E. I eat food everywhere I go. It doesn't matter. It's not killing the local people. It's not going to kill me. So I eat local food, wherever I go. So I'm used to changing, being flexible, being adaptive. And you know, it's so much fun. You can have a lot of fun trying to come up with a few crazy answers to some difficult questions. You know, I know, don't take this the wrong way, and I hope I'm not offending anybody on the screen today, because I don't know who all of our people are. But you know what? Can you find something funny about the Russian-Ukraine war? Sure you can. You know what? Those things that they eat in Ukraine, they're Ukrainian. The things they ate in Russia are also Ukrainian. So now Russia's trying to get the food back that they didn't have before, because Ukraine food is much better than Russian food. I've eaten both, and I tell you what, I'll take Ukrainian food any time of the day. That's why they're fighting. You see, now I just changed the subject drastically, and I would not use that as an example in front of a Ukrainian or Russian audience. But I don't think we have any of those on the screen today. At least I hope not. And if you are here, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm just trying to
We
point
don't
out
have
some of the
Italy.
differences.
I'm
don't know
here,
who
by
don't-
the way. I wrote down Vitaly Ukraine, so I'm here, my friend. But it's okay. It's okay. The joke was funny. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Because I can't see everybody in the thing. I've got it on the screen for the speaker, so I didn't see all the attendees. So I apologize for that.
Thank you.
But I do.
Thank you so much. I think my connection is lagging.
Okay, let me see if there's anything else on the screen here. Azure, headaches, pink. Any more questions? Training mental agility, how to overcome
Yes.
upset or
we
gloomy
have-
feeling. How are you gonna
yeah, we have
overcome
some
a-
more questions, but I'm so sorry to say.
Yeah. Yeah, do you want me to answer the
My
last question?
session, this frequently session is up. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe we can ask the other question in the last session in yeah, ask anything session. So thank you so much to our speaker for this sharing great messages for all of us and everybody. We can try new things and then of course like create differently so that we can be more creative. And yeah, we don't need to be perfect whenever we give the speeches in Toastmaster, and just practice a lot and then we can be creative. And yeah, so thank you so much to our speaker, and that's all my session as a frequently asked session. And now I will give the control back to our president, DTM Patricia Yap.
Hey, thank you so much, Christine, for leading us FAQ questions. There are so many questions that are coming up later. So, Michael, I beg you to stay a little longer later on because we have more questions firing up to you for sure. So, with this, certainly let us give Michael and Christine a huge round of applause. Yay, we love applause to acknowledge them, right? Because Michael just demonstrated it's so much fun when we believe in ourselves and just let people continue to judge, make the judgment while we do what deserve, right? While we do what we really want to speak, we really want to do. Because there's too much things out there, you want to take care of everybody. So this is what I learned today. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery. That's why we bring Michael in to showcase this can be done. With this, we certainly want to acknowledge Michael right now with our very fancy shirt. And I'd like to have Sean to take over the control. And Sean, are you ready with the fancy shirt that we prepared for Michael? Fancy
Yes.
certificate that are compliant to TI standard.
Wait a moment, please.
Yes. Okay, while waiting for Michael, yay! Please ease yourself and move it about to energize yourself. And it's so important to have mental agility, certainly. I love. It gave me so much fun. And let us recognize Michael. Yes, there you go, Michael. We hope you like this. I love this. Let's quickly take a photo of Michael with this. Sean, can you spotlight Michael and myself?
And just wait a moment. I have a spotlight, Michael.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Good. And let's move to the next one.
Just
I think
wait a
you
moment.
reshare the slide back to full screen.
Just a moment. The slide has some problem. Just another
Okay. Yes. Full screen.
full screen. Just wait a
Full
moment.
screen. I'm having
1,
an impromptu
2,
prop.
3. Okay, perfect. Another picture.
Thank you. Another photo with
Another
a
photo.
certificate.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Michael, for showing us the power of mental agility. And my honor, of course, to acknowledge the rest of our very important role players, Patsy, Sean, Suisin, Lai.
Yeah.
Let us put you guys on the spotlight and we will take a group photo with your outrageous pose This one not, well, everybody, you got to think of a crazy pose, okay? Because we have to match Michael's energy, okay? Okay, I'm watching everybody crazy pose.
And Tracy, can you help me to
Yeah.
take a
Betsy or
picture?
Yanika, can you help us to take a photo as well, if possible?
Yes, I can. Where is
Let me slow
Lai? I
down.
don't see Lai on the screen yet.
I'm here.
Lai, are you there?
You're missing Lai, and then you're missing
I'm here.
Is Lai highlighted or spotlighted?
Not
Okay,
yet.
I am going to add the live. Yeah, just one moment. Live. All right, just one sec. Spotlight. I think
Michael
look
disappeared.
at everyone.
And Michael
No,
is
Michael disappeared.
Michael is
Oh,
back.
Michael. Oh no,
Have to
Michael. we
add
need
him back.
you.
Just one sec. We'll have to add him back, Michael. Just one moment. I'm gonna add the spotlight right here. Okay, it's okay now? Sure.
Yes, it's
So
okay
who's gonna
now.
take a photo?
I'm gonna do the screen sharing. I'm gonna screenshot. So
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you, Yanika. Everybody now, let's remove the spotlight. Everyone, we want to make sure you are going to hold on to something fun and let us do the impromptu thing if you can. I am holding on to this because this reminds me to make sure I am getting my food all the time, especially not only the physical food, but remember our spiritual food, our mental food is so important. Because we're going to live until 150, right, Michael? At least. As
Absolutely.
David
Absolutely.
Sinclair, yeah. David Sinclair just mentioned, human beings, you live until 150, okay? Make that happen. We'll have a lot of fun. Okay. Are we okay to capture the photo? Shan, can you do that? Okay, everybody, I'll do that too.
Okay, I can take 3,
Yes.
2, 1. Another picture, just wait a moment.
Okay, this time around, I want to see your hands because the hands are so important, give so much energy.
1, 2, 3. Okay, wonderful. Back to
Thank
Patricia.
you. Thank you so much. We are having such an amazing time. Certainly, oh, I blew my mind. My mind was blown away. And Michael, you just raised your hand. Yes, what say you?
Yes, I need about a 30-second break. I'll be right back.
Okay, please do
Just
so.
30 seconds.
Please do so. While we get ready for you now, ladies and gentlemen, in Michael's absence, actually I should say folks, right? Because right now in US, some of the folks are non-binary, meaning they are in transition, either ladies and gentlemen, just a quick sharing here. So we actually address them by folks right now. But I'd like you to put in the chat box what you learned today. Okay, as far as improv, mental agility, what did you learn? Let us put it in the chat box so you know what you learned. It can be something very simple. Oh, I never know blue can be azura. Was that how it's pronounced? Oh, I never know orange. Some people say salmon. So it can be any sort of thoughts that just came into your mind. It can be, oh, I never thought I need to just allocate 1 hour. I will be able to do my speech in an hour. Break away from your fixed thinking, because one of the very important things why we brought Michael in is to hack time. Time is so important, and the only thing to be more productive, more creative, more innovative is when you kick yourself out of your comfort zone. That's what Michael are doing now. Michael is doing now. Michael, you are back. So we want to send you a lot of
I'm also,
kisses.
Patricia,
Yeah.
I'm not only back, I'm also front and top and bottom. So it's
Complete. Okay, thank you. He's not only back, you know what I mean? He's not only back, he's front, top, bottom, everywhere, right? So we are having a complete 100 Michael here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, folks, okay, folks. Yes, thank you, Michael. He's so amazing. That's why I love him. So we want to send Michael a virtual hug right now. In fact, Michael wasn't feeling well for the past few days, but today, for some amazing reasons, he came back even with so much energy that I truly adore. So I want all of you to spread out and give Michael a tight hug. You have to imagine now, Michael is in front of you and you're giving him a real hug, okay? A real hug. He is so fabulous, an angel to all of us. He gave this, okay, his lesson usually people need to pay. One whole day, he's charging at least 10,000 ringgit, okay? Now we are having him to give us free of charge. That's how you are guys so lucky. So I want you to hug Michael for at least 3 seconds. Can I? 3, 2, and 1. Thank you so much, Michael. How
Thank
did
you all.
feel?
Thank you all for the
feel
hug.
all of us
Thank you all.
hugging you so tightly. Okay, great. Now with this, our masterclass, The Power of Mental Agility, is officially adjourned. I want to thank all of you. Holly, Janet from Penang, and I want to thank our guests, Kimberly, Annie, who is not able to turn on her screen, Jeffrey, and Yanika, who has also helped us as a photographer. Certainly, Madam Distinguished Toastmaster Lee Ming Kaur, you are absolutely an angel to all of us. And of course, Vitali, right? Vitali, I'm going to come to you as well in a very short while because you have been so amazing. By the way, Michael used to live in Russia and Vitali is officially representing Ukraine. And we're so happy we have a Russian and a Ukrainian in the hall, and we are demonstrating how it can be so fantastic to have peace, to have so much creativity, thoughts going around when we have a different mindset, mental agility. So with it, I thank you all. And now I also want to acknowledge my, of course, good brother from Malacca right now, Raveen. I didn't miss you. I hope you didn't feel, oh my God, how come Pat didn't welcome me? No, you're always in my heart as well. So with this, I thank you all. Feel free to leave, but please stay back. Please stay back. This session is not being recorded anyway, so you can ask Michael anything from the sky A to Z, anything you want to ask, including questions about